Turn the ignition on. It's going to cycle. You'll notice that our camera has come on now. Once it's finished cycling, we start the rear engine. You can see the rear engine is on. It's running. The RPM is there. We've got our battery, oil pressure, fuel gauge, depth gauge is the green lights, RPM, water temperature, engine load. First button up here, we're in the night screen, day screen. A lot of the guys just like to leave it in the night screen. They seem to find it easier to work with. This button does nothing. If we had an alarm, if there was an alarm present for any kind of alarm for the engine or for the machine, this light will come on, it'll become yellow, and the exclamation mark will be there, and there'll be an alarm that sounds. If I push that button, I come to active engine errors, logged engine errors, or vehicle errors. If I want to check an active engine error, I push OK, and it would tell me how many errors there are, which one I'm looking at, the system, the type, and how many times it's occurred. And then you scroll through them with the up and down. Come out of that one. If I do logged, it's the exact same thing. It's just the logged errors. If there were any errors that were logged in the engine, this is for the engine, you would see them here as well. If there's a problem with the vehicle itself, so the vehicle is the AF1. When we're talking about it, we're talking about the AF1. We would go down to vehicle errors, okay, and you will see one of these checked off. And it will tell you which system is giving you the problem, so the mechanics know which sensor to go check or which sensor to change. Also, if the mechanics, if you call them and you tell them that there's an error and they ask you to go look, you check. You say the nozzle sensor is not working, it's checked off. They'll be able to say, well, we don't have one in stock. Continue working in manual mode and we'll take care of it tomorrow type thing, okay? This is for our work lights on the nozzle. So this will light up all the lights on the nozzle. So at the top of the nozzle, there, I believe there's 4 lights. They'll light it up at night. They do a really nice job lighting up everything. If we come over here, this is our auto store and auto undocking. So if we're undocking the machine, push this button. All these lights need to be green. Push the brake. If the brake is off, there's a red light. It will not allow it to go into auto store or auto undocking. If the truck is on a steep angle, it's not going to allow it. If the transmission is engaged, it's not going to allow it. Travel mode or work mode, one mode should be green, one mode should be red. If both modes are red, it will not start the cycle. Okay? Now, if we want to start the cycle to undock it, we're going to see, you're going to read your warning here. You're going to check around to make sure that everything is open and there's no danger, nothing going to get hit. You're going to inspect the area. Once you've done everything in here, you push the check mark. Then you're going to push start. And you can hear the rear engine kick up and you know that it's ready to start. So then we're going to reach down to the button closest to the driver on the left side, underneath, and we push it and hold it.
Is that truck too close to us over there?
No, far from it.
Okay.
So you can see it in the camera, and you use your mirrors as well to see it. Just want to make sure we're far enough from the truck.
Yeah, they're moving.
And you can see that both lights are red because it's in the middle of a sequence. If I let go of the button, I cannot move any option. Nothing's going to move. When I'm working it, nothing moves. You can see in the camera, nothing moves. Okay, I push the button again and it takes off in the same direction. Once I get to the work area, the green light for work mode goes on and I can X out of that screen. Now you have control of your nozzle. So if I go all the way to the right, That's how far out you can go on the right. And if I bring it to the left, that's all the way on the left. Now in manual mode, it will go further. You need to be careful not to go too far, okay? So if we go down, yellow button, down, you'll notice the angle of attack is up right now, so it will go all the way to the bottom. And then you'll notice that that's all the angle of attack that I have, okay? That's because it's not going to allow us to go down and touch the ground. So if I push the yellow button and I come back up about 8 inches, I get my full angle of attack. Now if I go down, it will stop there. It's not going to allow me to go further, so you still cannot touch the ground. Lift it up, bring my angle of attack in. The trap door is the 2 black buttons right here. You don't need to move anything else, just push the black buttons. That's open, that's closed.
So the top one closes and the bottom one opens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. You'll call my engineers and tell them.
Yeah. Just thought I'd mention it. It's weird.
It's backwards.
Yeah.
As far as, but they're going there. They said they're calculating by the cylinder. That's out. That's it.
Good old engineers.
Engineers. You got me on film saying it. That's good. So now, if we wanted to do the auto sweep, so let's bring this to the middle a bit so we can see it. I'll bring it up as well so you can. So auto sweep is the second button here. You can see there's the 2 arrows. Okay, you push it. So now we can either change it by pushing the arrows on the screen, or I can do it from the yellow one here and the blue one, say here. Okay, so let's make a little tight pattern. So once I've decided where I want my angle, depending on where I want it to turn, right, I can make it as wide or as skinny as I want. I'm going to start it. So now it's activated. If I push the bottom button on the right side, this one over here, so there's 2, there's this one, the right one, closest to the passenger side, I push it and hold it. It's going to go to that area where we adjusted it. And it will stay in there. Now, if I let go of the button, I can still manually go as far as I want in either direction. And if I push the button again, it goes back to where I set it and it will sweep there, okay? So the screen is here now. I don't need to leave the screen here. As long as it's on, it's still on. I don't push stop, I get out, it's still there. I can still use it. It's registered there. If I want to change the angle, I go back into the screen and I'll change the angle. Okay, so that's very convenient for when you want to go down a road, a runway, a tarmac, and you want to sweep and you want to just auto sweep down. You don't have to keep moving your joystick. You just push and hold the button and it'll do it on its own. Down here, we're going to put this in the front. So the bottom one here, the gear, we can either touch the screen, anything you can either touch the screen or the button. It gives me the clutch, engage or disengage. Want to be at idle? As long as I'm at idle, I can touch it. You can hear it engage. It flashes while it's engaging, and once it's engaged, it's yellow. This means we're turning and we're blowing air in the front. Okay? I was about to do that. So when you're working with the machine, you can put it at whatever RPM you want. Mostly you guys will be running it at full RPM. So if I run it all the way up, so you'll notice that your RPM is going to go up to about 1850, 1825, okay? I'm going to close the little trap door just to give you a better indication, okay? So if I wanted a little more power, I push and roll forward and I hold it. You can hear the RPM go up and you can see it. I let go and it goes right back to normal. That's a little boost in case you need a little extra power, okay? It's not as noticeable, but it is increasing, even with the door open, okay? You can see the RPM move a little bit. It's about 25 to 50. It will make a difference, okay? So you will see a difference if you give it that little bit of boost. There's a lot of people around, so we're gonna turn it down to idle again.
So this isn't a wheel you have to scroll infinitely. You just roll it forward and hold
Yeah.
it. Okay.
You can go in increments, or you can roll and hold it,
Okay.
whichever way you want, okay? And everybody does it a little bit different. So, we want to disengage. It needs to be at idle. Again, you can touch the screen, and you can either push the buttons, or, so disengage, goes black, it's disengaged. And we're safe to move the truck around without having to worry about it. Now, we're going to auto store it. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this down just to show you guys. You don't have to do this. This is just to show you guys how it works. So, in order to auto store, I push my button. I look around, I check my check mark, I do all my checks. So now I have to line up the two pieces of reflective tape. So those are lined up. I come back here, I push start. You can hear the engine kick up. So now the machine, the computer is taken over. I just have to push and hold the button all the way to the left, closest to the driver, and watch what's going to happen. The nozzle is going to come straight up. Angle of attack is going to come back in, and it's going to take off and go to the back. You want to push and hold the button for me?
Sure.
Just want to make sure. Now you need to hold that button and watch to make sure, and you need to hold it through the whole sequence. If you let go of the button before it finishes and it's too close, it might not kick back in. So the truck's going to shake when it gets to the end, and then it's going to go sit down. When it sits down, the green light for travel will light up in the screen up here. Okay? So if you watch now, it's going to shake because it's going to get to the end. It's going to go down. Now it's sitting. The green light is on. You can let go of the button. And if you move your joystick, nothing will move in the back because you're set to drive it and go back. You can shut the machine off. You X out of this screen. Now, if we needed to manually undock the machine,